It's 721 here, Big 550, KTRS. Jim Ryan, Chattanooga, Tennessee is where you are, and we hear the story of this terrible bus accident. Fill us in. What happened?
Yeah, the bus was rolling down the street. It was about a mile away from the school where it had just picked up about 36 children. Started the drop-off process on Monday afternoon. And according to witnesses, including some of the kids on the bus, the driver was either distracted. They know that he was going too fast. He swerved off the road to the right, struck a mailbox, swerved over to the other side of the road, struck a utility pole, and then slammed into a tree. The bus had already slid down onto its side. Some of the children were ejected. We know, McGraw, that 5 kids died there at the scene. Half a dozen are still in the hospital this morning, some in critical condition. Others may be released later today as they're treated.
What was the driver charged with?
He's been charged with vehicular homicide, 5 counts for each of the 5 kids who died. He's also charged with reckless endangerment and driving recklessly. So, I mean, those are some fairly serious charges. Bond on him is set at $107,000. His next court appearance, his first court appearance, isn't until this coming Monday, so he could be in jail for some time, McGraw.
It looks like it was a residential neighborhood that he was driving through,
yes.
Kind of.
It was, yeah, exactly. I was on that street yesterday. It's a twisting road through this kind of hilly residential neighborhood on the edge of Chattanooga. And yes, I mean, the sight distance is not so good. The visibility was fine yesterday on Monday. The weather was good. The pavement was dry. NTSB is looking at all of these factors and looking at the driver's record. 24-year-old Jonathan Walker had received his commercial driver's license only in April. He already had 1 crash in the last couple of months. Not a crash, but an incident. He apparently swerved over the center line and sideswiped a Kia Soul. The vehicles just kind of traded paint, and both drivers went on their way. But there was a police report about that in McGraw.
You know, the big question people always want to know, how fast was he going? Was he under the influence of anything? Do we know either of those questions?
We don't know how fast he was going. I think investigators yesterday were able to map out and estimate a speed. I've not yet heard that. They have not released that to the public. As for anything else in his system, the toxicology report has not yet come back on him, but certainly blood was drawn. They did get a warrant in order to do that, to complete that part of the test and find out if, in fact, he was on something.
You look at the picture of the bus wrapped not around the tree, but through the tree. Yeah. And you have to ask yourself, Jim Ryan, how did the bus end up in that place? I mean, what must have been a violent crash.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're seeing the result of it there. And as the roof of the bus is sort of bisected by that tree that's there. That's a black walnut tree that they had to cut down yesterday afternoon because it was damaged so badly. But it swerved from the opposite side of the street. It apparently was going fairly fast, and that roadway is kind of elevated. So as it came back up over the crown of the road and then struck the driveway in front of the house where that tree is, it fell onto its side and slid all the way into that tree. And one kid who was on the bus actually said that it flipped twice before striking that tree. So you can imagine the motion that this thing was in when it finally came to rest. 5
kids are dead, and how many are in the hospital now?
Well, a dozen yesterday afternoon were still in the hospital, 6 of them in critical condition. So those other 6 are going to be okay. They've been treated, and some of them may have been released overnight. But that was the last number that we were given by the hospital.
Jim Ryan, ABC News correspondent, live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Jim, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for checking in.
Same to you. Thanks, guys.
You got it. 725 here. Just a terrible story.
I know.
Just
Pray for
horrible.
those families.
725, Big 550.